Go.
Right. Okay. You've all got the minutes of budget and policy in front of you. Does anybody have any questions of those minutes, please? You're nearly a goldfish there, Councillor Sheldon.
I presume there will be questions.
Yep.
And I think we should look at the recommendations. And I think we should look at the recommendations and whilst we're going along, whilst they're presented.
Right. Okay then, so if we go through item 286, Tavistock Guildhall Gateway Centre Initiative, does anybody have any questions on that issue? Okay, there's none. Right, so arising from that consideration, there's recommendations. Read the Tavistock Guildhall. Within the papers you've just had given out tonight, following on from the meeting of the 30th of March from memory, we have an update on Tavistock Heritage Trust from Mrs. Spackman. I'm not sure if you've had a chance to read that yet, some of you. This is outlining, as we asked Mrs. Spackman to do, where she felt the trust was going to be going forward and in what sort of timely manner. She's put on here about the new Tavistock Heritage Trust Board, and the advertisements have gone out for 12 trustees, and hopefully the new board will be in place before the end of May, and a full board for the first AGM, which will take place before the end of September. She's then talked about fundraising, which we had concerns about, the PR and the web design, and a partnership agreement with Tavistock Town Council. So hopefully that has allayed some concerns that people may have had. Right, so if we go through the recommendations, little one, that we accept to welcome and accept the offer of the Heritage Lottery Fund to extend the submission date by 2.5 months. Is everybody happy with Councillor Smith? Okay, that's fine. Can I take them all on block? Is everybody happy with that? Yeah. Has anybody got any queries on the Guildhall ones? No? Okay, we will take them all on block. So that's little 1, 2, 3 and 4. Yeah. Thank you. A seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Williamson. All those in favour? Thank you. That's unanimous. Right. We then moved on to the Tavistock Heritage Initiative and the Pannier Market Works. Mr. Town Clerk.
Just really to advise, this is actually really referencing the item that's on the agenda later, so I would anticipate the main update will fall there in the closed session unless there's any particular questions on this particular minute.
Right. For the purpose of this, we will accept the minute as is stated on here unless anyone has any amendments or corrections to it, and then we will bring back forward on the Pannier Market reports as we get there. Is that okay with everyone? Right, so is everybody happy that the recommendation that we will have a further update and the note? Is everyone okay with that? Okay, agreed, thank you. Right, Tavistock Town Council meeting arrangements. Councillor Philip Sanders.
Didn't even put my hand up.
I know you didn't, but I know you want to speak.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As members will have noted, I wasn't at the Budget and Policy Subcommittee meeting because I had another engagement. I don't have a particular problem with the recommendation that was put forward, with one or sort of two minor qualifications. Firstly, I consider that if it is to meet prior to the Council, it would make sense for it to meet 2 weeks rather than 1 week ahead, for two reasons in my view. Firstly, if there were any actions or the need to acquire any additional information, it gives a little bit of time for that to be done. And secondly, just thinking about our officers having to produce the minutes and get them circulated 1 week ahead doesn't really give them very much time at all, and I would have thought it would be much more sensible and kinder, apart from anything else, to give them an opportunity. So it seemed to me 2 weeks. My other concern, and I understand from a discussion earlier with the Mayor that this was taken into account when the recommendation was put together. If it becomes a regular meeting, I wouldn't want to see it degenerate into something which just discusses a whole load of trivia, which then gets rediscussed again at the council, because that's just taking us back to where we were. If it has no delegated powers. If it is, as I understand it, the intention is that it will deal with major items, and if there is no major item, then the meeting doesn't need to take place, because otherwise I can see items being almost invented, or minor items put forward, and that seems to be quite a waste of people's time. Those would be my comments, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Does anyone else have any comments? Councillor Sheldon.
Yes, I was at the meeting, and when this came forward, and I would support the 2 weeks prior, because it was always a rush to get it. When we had 2 meetings, there was still a week before the main council meeting. So I'm fully in favour of that. And it was also to mention that the number of members was still 7 in the same criteria that we had for the committee as it was now, and I want to make that clear. And the reason for that is that we don't want to get towards the majority of the council being on a standing committee, which we've had in the past. I don't think there's anything else except that we should go forward, and they recommended it to us, and with those slight amendments, if they're accepted on that recommendation, that they are held 2 weeks prior. They comprise the same number as the committee at the moment, then I'll move that recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Sheldon. Does anyone else have any questions or points they'd like to add? Okay, so Councillor Sanders, you're quite happy to put in your 2 weeks.
I'm very happy with what Councillor Sheldon has moved, and
okay.
I don't think we need to define it in writing, but as long as we do understand that the intention is it's for significant policy and financial and strategic matters, not for routine bits and pieces.
Yeah.
I
think that's made quite clear in a minute as well. Okay, so we have a proposer and a seconder. May I see all those in favour, please? Thank you very much, and that will start from the 23rd of May with the new council year. Right, then we had an application for financial assistance, urgent business. There was a recommendation there, but I think, is that going to come up again with the pannier market, Mr. Town Clerk, or do you want to address it now?
I think there's a relationship in relation to the newsletter. I mean, I don't know if you want to cover off the financial assistance one first, Madam Mayor, and then
No, I think she decided she was going to pass over that one, Mr. Town Clerk.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. The recommendation, little A, B, C, is everybody happy with that recommendation? Questions, queries? Thank you, everyone. Right.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think what I would say, if members are agreeable, given the fact that we're going to have a conversation in more detail around the pannier market later, is if you're happy with the recommendation in the newsletter, we just add in the words subject to the outcome of the decision to follow. And then we can pick that up when we actually consider what we're going to be doing in relation to the pannier market at a later stage.
Okay. Right, I'll propose that. Anyone's happy to second that change to that amendment? Thank you very much, Councillor Mrs Wickham. All those in favour? Right, thank you. The rest of the minutes are in part 2, so I beg to move as they are. May I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Mrs Johnson. All those in favour? Thank you very much. Right, the Plans Committee now. Councillor Ward, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Plans Committee, 14th of March, minutes 266 to 274. I'd just point out that the only thing that was slightly unusual was the exhortation that members of Council familiarise themselves with the joint local plan in anticipation of the presentation at the following plans meeting by Councillor Graham Parker. So, Plans Committee, 4th of April, minute numbers 274 to 282. This meeting was preceded by a presentation by Councillor Parker which I thought was very helpful and pointed out the major features of the local plan, and reminding us all that we have an opportunity to comment on it. That opportunity expires on the 26th of April. I don't think there are any other particular issues of note, so I beg to move.
Okay, so that's the Plans Committee for the 14th of March and 4th of April. May I have a seconder for Councillor Ward, please? Councillor Mrs Whitcomb, all those in favour? Thank you very much, members. Right, item 7, service reports. The General Manager's report, which was on a subsequent report. Does anybody have any questions for the General Manager, please? No, that's for the next meeting, Councillor Sanders. Keep with it. Right, does anybody have any questions for the General Manager, please? Okay, General Manager, do you have any updates that you need to give now? No? Okay, so that report is noted. The Works Department report, any questions? Noted. The Town Hall Manager's report, questions? Noted. And the Pannier Market report, noted. Thank you. Right, the next item is finance and other matters. So we have the notes of the Goose Fair setting meeting. Everybody happy to note those? Noted, thank you. The report of the assistant to the town clerk. Does she have anything she'd like to add? Have we sent out invites yet for the grants presentation even and the mayor's end of term? We're getting to that, aren't we?
We've had the grants one.
Has everybody replied, more importantly?
No, I've had some replies, but they've got obviously another week or so yet.
Okay.
The end of term party invitations will be going out later this week.
Okay. And for those of you coming to the Civic Ball, a sellout event, which is good news. So, Garden Festival, everything else on there, just to note. Is everyone happy to note that report? Thank you. Tavistock Heritage Initiative. God, I get so confused. Project Management Board. Does anyone have any questions on this report? Noted. Item D, minutes of the Board of Directors for bid. Everyone happy to note? Councillor Smith, would you like to say anything?
Not really on those minutes, there's another meeting tomorrow night.
I know. Item F, Tavistock Museum Charitable Trust. Oh no, I've missed out. Tavistock Heritage Consultative Forum. I'll tell you, on Heritage Don't. Does anyone have any comments on those minutes? Minutes. Nope, so we're noting those. Right, Tavistock Museum Charitable Trust. Any comments? Questions? Nope. Okay, we're noting those. Right, Southern Parishes Link. I've got a question about these. No, it's just a bit sort of... All the villages have got really excited about having a landing patch for nighttime landing, and nobody's ever asked Tavistock. I was just wondering why. Not that I'm encouraging them to ask us. Oh, Councillor Sanders.
Well, I think it's a sort of two-way process. The air ambulance are actually responding largely to parish councils that have been approaching them, and then they look around for suitable sites. The other thing I think is that from Tavistock's point of view, there are a number of sites where they probably could land, but not necessarily illuminated, but you know, the school playing fields and various other things. But if we would want to provide one, then I think the initiative does need to come from the council to the air ambulance, because that's how most of the other parishes have become involved in the first place. And they send their chappie down and they look around for possible sites and then look at what the costs would be, and they will provide either 3,000 or 3,500 towards the cost of about 6,000. because they got a government grant. Those people who can remember back just before Christmas, the government handed out some money for that. So, but it's the Alston Beer Ferrers one ended up costing just short of 9,000 because of some particular problems. But generally they're about £6,000, and say either 3 or 3,500 comes from the air ambulance themselves.
Councillor Smith.
Yeah, it's not just an area for it to land, of course. It's the lights which need an electrical supply. They run the supply out to the lights. It's not a problem switching them on because it's automatically when the helicopter hovers over, they can switch the lights on from there, so you don't have to have somebody present at the time. It's been expressed. This meeting was somewhat confused, to say the least. It was a wonderful meeting to be at because it was just so confused that you hardly ever knew what item anyone was talking to or where we were going. But it was wonderful.
Got a lot done, though.
And we did get through quite a lot. But yeah, it's something which there was some concern about a coordinated approach towards it, so that you'd have specific areas in which the helicopter could land, but it has been emphasised by some of the applicants for a grant that it isn't just used to land and transport injured people to hospital. They also sometimes use it when it's easier to get a paramedic to land in the helicopter and run to wherever, with his backpack on, run to wherever there's any incident. So there is a benefit to it, and I think that the case is certainly, as Councillor Sam said, that in Tavistock there are certain areas that a helicopter could land. There's one on Lonston Road, which they often use, the field there, and they possibly could use a football ground if they had to. But if you wanted a specific one, the Town Council would have to go through the process of applying, and there is a limit to the funding which TAP will provide. We had to do that because there were so many different prices coming in, on the applications, differing variance. You know, the variance was tremendous, really. So we set a limit to what you could actually get from the TAP fund for a landing site.
Yeah, that does show in the minutes of the TAP of the Parish Links, Southern Parish Links meeting on page 3 and 4. It goes into detail there because I think everybody's been applying. But it just struck me as odd that Oakhampton and Tavistock weren't mentioned anywhere. So, does anyone else have any queries or questions on the Southern Parishes link? Councillor Sheldon.
Yes, I was going to ask whether, from these minutes, whether we were going to be proactive, reference the meet where they're holding the meetings of the Southern Parishes link, because at the end, at the bottom of point 9 on the minutes or the notes, they do mention that the clerk will get in contact with Tavistock. Well, could we possibly push that town clerk to ask them, or the manager, the town hall manager? It'd be nice if the town hall manager got in touch with the clerk by email and gave her some details that she's been asked to seek. I can see the Councillor Smith has got a query. Have you got a query? Or
Councillor Smith.
I'm thinking about business with the town hall now, rather than.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just make the point that this came about because there was a double booking at the Coronation Hall in Mary Tavy, and I suggested at the previous meeting that they ask the Town Council if the Rundle Room was available, and we could use it for the meeting. It was, let's just say, the meeting was extremely well attended when it was in the Rundle Room, more than I've seen at Mary Tavy. People were exceedingly happy with the way that the town hall handled, was welcoming to everyone, and the tea and coffee was really good compared to what it has been. But that's beside the point. I have to say, make an apology, that I did say that I would talk to the town clerk about future meetings, but straight after I had to shoot off to Hertfordshire, so I haven't, and I've only just come back again. But I will discuss it because I think that if it is at all possible to offer the Rundle Room as a meeting place for this committee, it certainly makes it a much more acceptable venue, and we do get a lot more attendees than we did, or we seem to, at Mary Tavy.
Okay, well, I think the point's noted from Councillor Sheldon and from Councillor Smith. The Town Clerk has noted that. Okay, thank you. Any update from or questions to the council representatives serving on other outside bodies? Does anybody have anything to say? Councillor Mrs Johnson.
Thank you. I represent the Town Council on the Destination Oakhampton group, which is the group, one of the groups based in Oakhampton, about getting the rail line back to Oakhampton and then subsequently back to Tavistock. We had a very successful morning in the Pannier Market, which I'd like to thank the Pannier Market staff for helping us with. Lots of people came in, lots of people were interested, some really good questions, and I think we couldn't ask for it to go any better than it did, actually. I don't think we could have coped with any more numbers in there. The next meeting of the group is on the 10th of May. The summer service will be starting soon. They have a summer train which goes on a Sunday from Oakhampton up to Exeter many times and back again. And I'm working on the idea with one of the transport groups within the town of us having a minibus which goes up and takes people from Tavistock up to experience that. I think the cost of a return rail ticket is something like about £5.30, but that's not absolutely definite, but it's not a huge amount of money to pay to go from Oakhampton to Exeter and return on the day. Or, of course, you can go further than Exeter if you so wish. But certainly things are moving on there, and I shall report back next time we have council. Thank you.
Can I just... Councillor Moody.
It's not on that subject. It's
okay. Can I just...
Thank you.
Councillor Mrs Johnson, I was thanked by several members on the group for your input that you have within the group, and that you are virtually at every single meeting. I don't think you've missed anything, and they did express their thanks to me as the Mayor to thank you, which is good, so thank you for the work you do there. Councillor Moody.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to raise the issue about the Chamber of Commerce meetings. We don't seem to have a report from the minutes of their recent meeting. I went, as Councillor Sheldon was unable to make this month's meeting, I went along to the Bedford Hotel, and there was no meeting being held at the Bedford on that particular night. Could I just ensure that the Council is in contact with the Chamber of Commerce just to make sure when our meetings are being held, where they're being held, and I believe that they have also changed some meeting dates from a Monday to a Tuesday or something.
Yeah.
But we don't seem to be getting that communication through.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think Mr Harper's been in a few times, so we'll just have to sit him down or find out from Leanne Elliott when they are. Right, does anybody else have any points on item H? No? Okay. To receive such communications or reports as may be submitted by the Town Mayor. The only thing I would say is that I opened the music festival today, and that now goes on for approximately 3 weeks. So it would be good for people to try and go and see at least one event. There's very great varied programme of many genres of music, literature, all sorts to do with the arts. So it'd be great for people to try and go. Also to thank the people who put on, with the assistance from the Town Council, the Passion Play. That brought a lot of people into Tavistock on Good Friday. There was easily probably over 1,000 people down there. And I think the Town Council needs to thank all of those, because it almost was like a man-engine event all over again. Very, very good. I don't know whether there's plans for them to do it again. Somebody who was backstage is nodding at me. And it was very well received in the town, and I think subsequent years it could be a lot better from lessons learned from this one. I don't have anything else except I look forward to seeing those of you that are coming to the ball. So if we move on now to items, urgent matters brought forward at the discretion of the Town Mayor, I have none. So if we could go into Public Bodies and Commissions Act, may I have a proposer please? Thank you Councillor Smith, seconder. Thank you Councillor Venning.